Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another thrilling episode of Ask GameSpot. I'm your host, Sean McInnes. This is my co-host, Maxwell McGee's Christmas-themed sweatshirt. Also, Maxwell might be
I might be inside
in
of the shirt somewhere at some point.
And today we're going to talk to you all about the upcoming open-world spin-off to the Forza Motorsport franchise. Yes, we are talking to you about Forza Horizon. I've played the game, and Maxwell has a number of questions from you guys.
Right here.
To tell you all
right
about
here.
It. Yeah.
All right, Sean, you ready for the first question?
Wait, hold.
Just
yes,
let
now.
it. There
Now
we
I
go.
am.
And this is coming from Twitter. Isaac Stevens 1. He wants to know: are the driving physics in Horizon the same as in Forza 4, or will it feel more like an arcade-style racing game?
So that's sort of the million-dollar question that everybody wanted to know. And here's the answer. It is perhaps a little bit more forgiving than Forza 4 was, at least by default. So you're able to weave through traffic a little bit more easily. You're able to drift around corners a little bit more easily. It's a subtle thing. It wasn't like, it doesn't feel like Burnout by any stretch of the imagination. Now, with all that being said, like other Forza games, you do have a number of driving assists that you can toggle on or off, whether it's ABS, traction control, or the suggested driving line. So you can make those cars pretty damn demanding if you want to, and it begins to feel a lot more like Forza 4 on a higher difficulty. So, I mean, you can still make it feel like a real sim racing game, or if you want to enable all those assists, you can make it feel like a reasonable approximation of an arcade racing.
Our next question comes via Facebook from Hassim Al-Awani. He wants to know, with bigger gameplay, I'm sure there are going to be some compromises. Will the graphics be worse?
I was actually pretty impressed. I was thinking that, there was going to be a trade-off like that going into the game, because going from these small segmented circuits in the older games to a big, expansive open world, I thought maybe the same thing. There might be some trade-offs, but I was actually very impressed with how good this game looks. The lighting effects are a lot more pronounced. There's a full day-night cycle, so things like sunset and sunrise look awfully pretty. And just the geography of the world looks really good. The way I described it in my write-up is that it's basically one big world that consists of vistas like the Bernese Alps and foliage like the Maple Valley Raceway. Very diverse and very pretty to look at.
All right, our next question comes via Twitter from Carlo Fernan. He wants to know, is Forza Horizon going to keep the upgrading/tuning and car customization somewhat the way it is, or is it automatic?
So it's not automatic. You can still upgrade and tune your car. I played about the first 90 minutes of the game, and I didn't get to that part of it yet. You have to sort of there's a story conceit where you unlock new features as you go along within the first couple hours of the game. I didn't get to that part yet, but the Turn 10 guys are very adamant that they want you to be able to take a car and make sure that it's still competitive along the life of your career. So, you can still upgrade your car, you can still tune your car, you can still add new air filters and, roll cages, and maybe not roll cages, but, you can still tweak it to adjust the performance.
Our next question comes via Facebook from Austin Jang. He wants to know, what kinds of features carry over from Forza 4?
So there's actually an interesting system in there where it'll read your save file from Forza 4, and depending on how high level you are, you'll actually be gifted a few different cars at the beginning of the game. I don't know specifically which cars you get, but there is that feature in the game, so make sure you still have your Forza 4 save file. You can also import your vinyl decal groups. So if you've spent a lot of time making some sweet-ass stickers for your car, you'll be able to import them into Forza Horizon and sell them on the storefront.
Our next question via Facebook from Robert Lagrersa wants to know, is it going to be like Test Drive, where there are also player drivers on the road?
So you can do free roaming in multiplayer, but you have to set up a specific multiplayer match for that sort of thing. And once you're in there, you guys can all just sort of drive around however you like. In single player, that sort of stuff is not baked into the single player storyline. But with that being said, you can encounter the other drivers who are part of this big Forza, or this big Horizon driving festival. Okay. So most of the cars you see out of the road are basically just NPC cars. They're just randoms driving around for you to smash into if you want, or avoid.
So having player characters jump into your game, that's something you have to enable. It's not just something that's going to randomly happen.
Well, having human characters, you have to enable that for multiplayer.
That's right.
But you'll also be able to drive around and see cars with names above them, and those are the guys who are in the Horizon Festival. And the cool thing about that is that you can drive up behind them and hit the X button. You're like, hey, I want to challenge you to a race. And it's basically like pulling up next to somebody at a red light and challenging them to a drag race. So there's that sort of potential out there.
Next question via Facebook from Chris Collin. He wants to know, can you get in and out of the car, or is it a
You'll see your character get out of the car during the cutscenes. There's these very stylish, shaky cam cutscenes in the game. It's all very slick. But during the game, you don't get out of your car. It's not Grand Theft Auto.
You're trapped in an iron box.
Right. You don't jump out to jack another car. It'll do things like previous Forza games where it says, the car that you're in right now is disabled from this particular competition. Do you want to get into your Mustang for this, American muscle car contest? And you're like, sure, I'll get into my Mustang, and then you are. You're in it, and you're driving off.
Next question via Twitter from Dean M78. He wants to know, I read Forza Horizon has property damage and street racing as part of your progress. Isn't that promoting real-life bad driving?
So the property damage that you're referring to is that there's sort of a point system in the game that's a bit similar to the kudos in Project Gotham, where you're awarded points for basically doing stylish things like drifting around corners or occasionally hitting stop signs and things like that, or fences. So you can do mild property damage, but you're not a vehicular terrorist out there. You're not driving your car into homes and driving families out into homelessness. So in some ways, yeah, I mean, the game will reward you for hitting stop signs, but it's not going to reward you for being a total dick.
Our next question via Facebook from Stanley Obus wants to know, do it have a pink slip race?
Do it have a pink slip race?
Do it, Sean?
So like I said, I played about the first 90 minutes of the game, so it might have like proper pink slip races where you're playing against story characters, and if you beat them, you win their car. I didn't encounter those, but they might be in there. There are races that are functionally like pink slip races where, it's... One of the races I played is that you're in a Ford Mustang Boss, and you're actually racing against a effing helicopter. Wait, not a helicopter, a plane. It's like a crop duster.
That's even worse.
Yeah, and if you win that race, you win that Mustang. So it's added to your garage, and the sponsor just gives it to you. So it's kind of like a pink slip race in a way, but as for that more sort of like, you're actually winning another human being's car, I don't know if it has that in there. It might. Who knows?
Our next question from Facebook. This one pretty straightforward from Eduardo Nascimento. He wants to know character customization.
Character customization. You're not going to customize your dude, your avatar driving the car. There is car customization, like I said. You can tune it, add new engine parts, swap out old ones, the sort of stuff that you would expect in a Forza game. It's also got, like I said, custom vinyl decals, so you can still go in there and add some sweet racing stripes. You can slap a dolphin on your car if that's what you want to do. So there's car customization, but your guy in the storyline, he basically starts out as like, he kind of reminds me of Paul Walker from the Fast and the Furious franchise. He's just this, cool, regular-looking, average dude, pretty agreeable. There's nothing offensive about him, and I feel like he probably stays that way for the rest of the story. So you can't give him like a weird mustache or a cowboy hat, or maybe, but as far as I know, that's not in there.
All right, our final question of the day comes from XX Naruto fan 90210XX from his pit house in Habbo Hotel. He wants to know.
Habbo Hotel?
I know. You think you gotta move out of there, dude. It's done. It's over.
Come on, man.
He wants to know, I'm pretty into collecting wristbands. Well, that's no surprise. Like, really into collecting wristbands. Any colors, doesn't matter. Is this game going to appeal to a wristband collector like myself?
Well, XX Naruto fan 90210XX, if you're into collecting wristbands, you're in luck. Roll the tape.
I've got a green wristband waiting for you over at Race Central.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thus concludes another episode of Ask GameSpot. I'm Sean McGinnis, and I want to thank Maxwell McGee's sweatshirt for being on the show today.
And I would like to thank Max McGee's sweatshirt for being warm and comfortable.
Couple items of note. If you haven't read it already, I've got a preview about the game that you can go check out on GameSpot.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you can get a regular feed of awesome gaming coverage. All right, guys, that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching.